Nobody here that I know.
So I was like, oh. See, the first time was pretty open.
Are we ready to go?
Whenever you're ready.
I guess it's that time.
Yep.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could stand for the pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have Bob Travis is joining us virtually, and hi there, Bob. And not sure if Tony's, has anybody heard from Tony if he's going to be in tonight?
Not heard.
I
Okay,
have not heard.
all right, very good. Well, the first item is the adoption of the agenda, and consent agenda is our order of business. And of course, any board member can identify something they want to have taken off for separate discussion or action. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda and consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Then we have to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from our last board meeting on October 20th. It includes the financial report for July 1st through October 31st and the bills for the period of October 1st through October 31st, totaling $2,499,490.75. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as adopted?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Plymouth FFA team was recognized during the National FFA Convention, and Tracy Heinberg is here for us.
Good evening, how are you guys all today?
Good.
I was asked to just talk a little bit about two of our 2020 graduates and the agri-science project that they did in cooperation with FFA and the CAP Bio program with Ms. Tina Henriksen. So every year, students have the opportunity to be FFA members. And one of the opportunities that they have within FFA is to participate in the state and hopefully national agri-science fair. Last fall, Dallas Creasa and Anna Seifert decided that their mission was to be a national finalist in the plant division, which they did as a team. And they used their Cat Bio class as a starting point for that research. September, they knew that they wanted to do something with plant systems. They knew that we have our wonderful Food Science and Ag Center, and they were really intrigued with sustainability and our hydroponics. So they decided to do, and I had to write this down because it's a lot of words, their project was titled The Effects of Adding Hydrogen Peroxide to a Water Culture Hydroponic System to Grow Lettuce. They were looking for another way to add dissolved oxygen to the water and hopefully reduce electrical costs on adding dissolved oxygen through a series of aerators. And through research, they also found that in soil-based growing, farmers had already used hydrogen peroxide to help limit disease in the roots, and then it allowed for better plant growth. So last fall, they started doing some trials with lettuce seeds and seeing what dilution of hydrogen peroxide they needed to use for their growing trials. By Christmas, I believe, or right before winter break, they had decided on their dilution that they were going to use. This spring, starting in February, they then started 2 hydroponic tables. Each had 72 plants in it, I believe, for growth trials at a little different dilution. Then COVID happened, so there were like 2 weeks of data that I collected for them. They then analyzed the data, put together their lab report, and submitted their application for state competition. Because of COVID, the state competition obviously did not happen in person in Madison. The judges looked solely at their report. They were deemed the state winner and were then forwarded on to national competition. In August, I believe it was, we found out that actually, I think it was the end of July, we found out they were a top 10 finalist, and at the end of October, no, at the end of September, we found out they were in the final 3. From there then, on October, I believe it was 26th, they did a live national convention. Typically, they would be down in Indianapolis, where they would have had to put their research board together. They would get interviewed by industry industry experts from different companies like Syngenta, Bayer, Monsanto, all these different companies that are in plant research, plant sustainability, and they'd get interviewed by them. Instead, they had to put together a 5-minute video answering 5 different questions, and then in October, they found out that they took the 2nd place winning. So of the top 3, they placed 7th, or not 7th, 2nd, and in return, through the sponsorships, each of them actually receive a $750 cash award that they can put towards schooling or whatever it is that they want to put that towards. So that's the Agri-Science Fair in a nutshell. This is the 3rd Science Fair project Plymouth High School and FFA have actually had at nationals. 4 years ago, we had the national winner in the animal science pathway. So yes, so it's a great collaboration with our Cap Bio project, our Cap Bio class and Ms. Hendrickson's class, that we work together and do that. And we've had 3 teams make it to nationals, so it was exciting. And then Anna, well, is Anna up there? I don't know if she, yep, there she is. Anna and Dallas are actually both joining us if you have any additional questions for them also.
Congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. They really do all the work. I just encourage them.
Are either of them continuing pursuing an agriculture?
So,
path?
Dallas, would you like to let them know what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, so technically, sorry, my degree, I'm pursuing a degree in biology, but with that, I want to go into the agricultural field, actually regarding plant genetics and plant engineering.
Wow, very interesting. Congratulations.
And then Anna right now is kind of in between. She actually just got great news that she is now cancer-free. So she's transitioning into that, and then we'll see where her future goes, because she's another amazing young lady. So yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I was intrigued that they set out, you ladies had a goal to achieve at the national level. And how does that start? Where does it, I'm just kind of intrigued by that you achieved what you set out for.
Dallas, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so Anna has actually, she went to nationals, I believe it was last year for poultry judging, and I never had the opportunity to go to nationals, so I told Anna, like, you need to help me get there. Like, that's the goal that I had from, like, freshman year, because I always went to national convention, and I just wanted to have the chance to compete there. And both of us were always intrigued with the projects that were up on display at the state convention when we went together each year. So we decided it would be really cool if we were able to put a project together and actually be able to be part of what we always look forward to looking at.
It's awesome.
I would just add too, we've had a long tradition of a strong agriculture program, and that was kind of a precursor to the Food Science and Ag Center, and Tracy has done just wonderful things with kids in the tradition of our former agriculture teachers, and now with the cooperation between the science department and agriculture and the community, it just bears great results.
Well, excellent. Other comments?
We
questions?
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Anna and Dallas. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, the next item.
Oh, and she said thank you. And then I'm good to go. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening.
The next item in our agenda is the legislative update. Dan?
Yes, we met as a group just yesterday, and some big news for Sheboygan County. Senator Devin Lemieux is now the majority leader in the Senate, and Tyler Vorpagel has assumed some assembly leadership as well. Senator Katzma is the chair of the Finance Committee, so they're in Sheboygan County, the legislators that we work with on a regular basis and that we discuss lots of issues and our educational issues with, hold a lot of sway now in the state of Wisconsin and state government. So we've had a long-standing good relationship with our local representatives, and we all reaffirmed in our meeting that we were going to continue to work and share our ideas together, and so I'm looking forward to continuing that. We did get some news from Senator Lemieux, who had been meeting with multiple people since his appointment related to the finances coming in at the state level. He talked to people at state government responsible for the revenue, what's coming in currently. And actually, compared to what they were modeling, the state is seeing greater revenue than what they were anticipating. So remember that they would have been anticipating quite a bit of a downturn, but they're not seeing as much of a downturn as they were anticipating. So he was trying to give us good news about the revenues coming in the state of Wisconsin currently. So, of course, all of that could change related to what happens here in the near future, but just kind of excited that the Sheboygan County area is so, and one of our former graduates, Tyler, is moving up in the ranks of the state legislature, so it's kind of nice to see.
Great, excellent. Thank you. We now need to review the academic pillar future states, and both Dan and Dina Bedrecki will help us with that.
Dina can take this.
So we provided you with the academic and extracurricular future states. We took the feedback that you had given at the committee at the full meeting. Within the last month, we've gotten a lot of feedback from you as well as from our DLT team. If you take a look at it, you'll see in the academic future states, the last three are new, would be new to this year. And then extracurricular, the last one in the column would be newly added one, future state. And I think the biggest change from the last time that we met is on both columns, the last item is that one that sort of focuses around servants, servant to our community and volunteering, and we just sort of reworded those to better match the column that they were in.
Okay.
Did you have any questions on those at all, or additional thoughts?
So after we reviewed these and moved on, our work as the DLT continues in creating the hows and the metrics and everything around what we are going to do and continue to do to help our students achieve those high-level future states. And then ultimately, that's what we come back to you in usually the spring or early summer of every year and say, here's what we did, what we intended to do to achieve these lofty future states, and here and give you kind of an update of how far we made it. Okay?
Any comments or questions? Excellent. Very good. Well, let's go to the approval of the WASB delegate and alternative appointment for the 2021 assembly. It is going to be virtual this year, and the delegate assembly will be on Wednesday from 1:30 to 4:30. And what will happen prior to that, probably in the very near future, is we will receive the proposed resolutions, and as a board, we will discuss them and decide what action we'd like to be taken. And then whoever's appointed as the delegate would participate in the in that assembly, where it's will then be determined what action will be taken on those, and it helps set the agenda for education in the state from the school board point of view. And I think we've seen here in our recent history where initiative that was put forth made it all the way through the legislature and has helped us tremendously. So this stuff does make a difference. It's stuff that can get acted on, and not all of it will, but so it's fairly significant. So we have to determine who would like to participate as our delegate for that June 20th, January 20th, Wednesday, from 1:30 to 4:30. In the past recent years, Dan and Sally, you've done that. I think, Dan, you went last year. As I think were you presenting down there as well? Were you an exhibitor down there? Just the delegate, okay. And is there either of you or others that would like to participate this year as our delegate?
It doesn't matter to me if somebody else would like to do it. I can do it also, but if somebody else would like to be involved, I'm fine with that. Either way.
Is there anybody else that would be interested in that?
At least January, you won't have to fight the traffic in Milwaukee since it'll be virtual.
That actually makes it more attractive, doesn't it? See people looking at their phones trying to find their schedules. So
Yeah, it fits my schedule.
it fits your schedule. Okay. Sally and Dan are available. And
See what's the other spot.
No thanks. Wednesdays are bad days at the office.
well, one be a delegate and one be the alternate.
Yeah.
Sure.
You'll be the delegate?
Do you want to do it again, or you want to be the alternate, Dan?
It's up to you.
Should we just flip a coin?
Paper, scissors.
I'll be the delegate again.
Okay, we'll appoint Dan as the delegate, and Sally can be the alternate delegate, and maybe December, but certainly in January, we'll look at all those resolutions and give you our thoughts about that. I noticed that there's an interesting meeting the Tuesday night before from 7 to 8 o'clock, again, that's virtual, to answer questions about those resolutions as well as to go over the parliamentary procedure of that meeting. So 7 to 8 p.m. that Tuesday, January 19th, for anybody that's interested in that. All right, the education and COVID update. Dan and Dina, can you bring us up to date?
Sure. Kind of strange we put education and COVID together with everything. It's like such the topic of all of our discussions almost. But I'm just going to mention a couple things, and then Dina has some things as well. So just for the public's sake and for the board's sake, I know that as we've come back and we've discussed our reopening plan and our educational model in recent weeks, we've added and changed a couple of things here and there to allow us some flexibility to use our local data and our local nurses in order to best respond to cases and the impact of COVID to our educational model. And it's greatly appreciated, and it is allowing us to continue our model as we began it this year with some minor adjustments with kids going into and out of quarantine and staff members going into and out of quarantine. And so this week, we're again meeting with all the staff in the district. We're doing it virtually, but we're having a chance to talk with them and get feedback about how things are going. And Dina and I are meeting with everybody in the mornings and afternoons. And so what we're talking about is the fact that what our intent is to continue with our model as long as possible. The research does show that in-person learning and this hybrid model is superior to completely virtual. So as we are going forward, what we are looking and continuing to do is use the information that the nurses give us, and we talk on a daily basis of any students or staff members who are positive or symptomatic or close contacts, and then we review those cases, we review the impact to classes, we review our staffing levels related to being able to continue those models in those classrooms, and then we make decisions about how that class can move forward. There have been 3 cases so far, which I know I've communicated to you, where we have switched classes from in-person to remote learning. All of those classes I now believe are back to in-person, and one of the reasons that we did that in one case was for staffing mostly. In another case, what we did it for was because we had a number of students and we were getting to the point where we thought there might have been spread going on in that classroom. And so we flipped it to remote, and then the surrounding classrooms and cohorts of students, there was no continued growth of cases in the surrounding classes that had remained in school. That class went into quarantine, the cohort did. They came back out, and we had no additional currently cases in that group either, other than the ones that were already started when we flipped them into the virtual, the remote to begin with. That's our intent. That's how we would like to continue to move forward. Use our information that we are working on daily with our nurses and target whether they're restrictions or changes in programming for just those areas that are being impacted. So if at all possible, we'd like to be able to target those specific areas, those locuses of cases, and then continue with the regular education models as we have them currently now in place in the buildings that don't have that same situation going on. So that was just a little bit of we're talking to the staff members and we're looking and getting feedback from them about we're trying to do this scientifically and specifically and on a daily and hourly basis. And then just one other little bit, and then you can have questions. Dina will go, and then you can have ask questions of all of us, both of us. But and then last Friday was the first. You gave us other leeway through the reopening plan to have some housekeeping days, and these housekeeping days were intended for getting at lots of the things in the buildings that we're not able to get to because of the intense amount of disinfecting and all of those types of things we're doing on a daily basis with our custodial staff, but also for teachers and staff to be able to connect specifically maybe with people that needed extra time or to get more preparation done to change a direction with what the teachers were currently doing in their curriculum model. And Dina will talk about some of the cool things that are being done related to curriculum changes as well. But just so you're aware, I've got a long list of items that we're caught up with for our custodial and maintenance staff, and things like just the auto scrubbing of the gym floors and the hallway corners and all of those things that are the wet mopping that take a bit of time that we haven't been able to get to because we're fogging rooms and we're wiping down surfaces every single day. our changing ballasts and things like that, that we kept them, get put back in the back burner, and then those days really give us a chance to get caught up in some of those areas as well. So a lot of really good response from the people that work in the district on trying to be able to use those days to get caught up on some things. So those are just a couple of updates from me, but then Dina's got a few things as well.
We're continuing to all grow and learn, students and staff alike. I thought I'd just share 2 different scenarios. Dan and I really try every week to get out to all the schools, and today I was at one of our elementary schools. And just to observe the changes that people are making, it's exciting to see in a lot of ways. So, for example, I was in a 3rd grade classroom, and they were working on math. So they had a whiteboard next to them that they were working out their problems. They were doing some mental math, but the worksheet was digital. And then they would enter their after they solved the problem, they would enter that in on the computer. And they'd have to draw text boxes in. So at a 3rd grade level, to see the multiple steps that they were taking to accomplish that project and to use those tech skills, which typically in the past would be taught in isolation, but wouldn't always stick because there wasn't a purpose, to see that seamlessly happening. And then to still see kids who, one student wasn't quite able to figure out the box wasn't working, and another kid socially distanced apart's like, wait, and he talked it through, which we know the highest form of understanding is being able to teach. So there the student is walking through his peer in the class doing this and still having that collaborative, action take place. Then I moved across the hallway to a 4th grade classroom and chit-chatted with the teacher. The students were just finishing up their narrative writing, and they had the paper form done. They had the digital form, and she said, typically we do a peer editing where they sit in small groups, they share out their story, they talk, get feedback from each other. And she said, obviously we have to do it different this year. So they were going to record on a program that we use called Flipgrid, and then that allows kids to privately go in and see each other's. But what I loved about it is that it also gives the child who's reading their recording to view it and then to synthesize what they've done and take it to a little bit of a higher level with reflecting on their own learning and listening to their speaking skills, and hearing their thought process that was on paper spoken. So it was just great. And for the teacher, she had to rethink and do things differently. Typically she would have done it probably the same old way, meet in groups, but this is allowing us to stretch out a little bit beyond our comfort zone at times, but to use technology and to use other strategies that may not have been used in the past. I think our teachers continue to do an amazing job with collaborating and sharing resources with each other. We were switching over some report cards, and one school, Parkview teachers have been doing it. So a Fairview teacher called me and they said, oh, don't worry about it. The Parkview teacher said, we'll put a video together and send it, and then that way if they get stuck, they can just watch the video again and learn how to do it. Last I'll share is at the high school in the last 2 weeks they had conferences and they were done virtually, and some real positive feedback came back. In the past, we've always had conferences cafeteria style, and many parents gave the feedback that it was really nice to have that privacy. They had a scheduled time, so they didn't have to come and wait and not know how long it was going to take to be able to sit down and talk to their child's teacher. And especially for people who have more than one child, you can really spend your whole evening here. So there was some real positives with all of that, and they didn't have to leave their home. So it just was a little bit more efficient and convenient for people. But we're continuing to go. I mean, there's still some bumps in the road, but people have been working really hard collaboratively and individually to build their own capacities and to make sure that we're still providing that high quality education.
Would you say that in some cases, doing it the way you're doing it now is being a little bit more effective than before?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, in the past, because it takes time to integrate that technology piece, and teachers are wanting to make sure that their kids are comfortable on the computer, and because of what happened last spring, they've been on their computers a lot more. And teachers are learning new tools that they're finding to be meaningful and relevant, and it's sustainable. It's great that we're not printing out all this paper and kids are able to work online, but then those different processes do really initiate some higher level thinking.
Good.
Which is definitely in our future states, and we want our kids to be doing.
Excellent. Any comments or questions? Well, thank you.
Before we move on, Richard, for the WASB delegate, we do need to make a motion.
Oh, okay. We have a motion to appoint Dan as the delegate and Sally as the alternate. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
All in favor, say yes? Yes. Very good, thank you for catching that. That brings us down to our policies. We have the first reading of Neola Policy Updates, Volume 29, Number 2, and we have the policy that we created on student achievement. And so what we need to do is, first of all, we discussed this last Monday at our meeting, and Kathy has looked through them, and Dan has worked with Katrina and our consultants. So we're ready to make an approval of these, and it needs to be done in two different readings, two different meetings. So it'll be this month and next month. But the first step is to waive the reading of those policies. So do we have a motion to waive the reading of them?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes?
Yes.
And opposed say no. The next step is then to approve the policies for this first reading. So do we have a motion to approve the policies?
I move that we approve the policies.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. And I don't think anybody signed in for the public participation area. So we'll go down to board liaison reports. Sally, what's going on in community education?
Actually, there are some new stuff going on. There is okay, so I grabbed the wrong paper, but that's okay. There is hall walking, but in the new facility now, or in the actual hallways of the new addition. Otherwise, you can be in the new facility and walk. You do have to contact community ed and sign up for a time period, because only so many are allowed in that space during that time. I know there are some water activities going on, exercise or whatever, but just go onto the website and check out community ed, see if there's anything that you want to get involved in. I think that's it.
Thank you, Sally. Foundation, did we lose Bob on the online and the virtual? I don't see.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're there, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Bob. So what's going on with the foundation?
Foundation is continuing, most of the work right now is surrounding our grant program. We did receive a application for a large grant, so we're currently reviewing that. And as always, we're always looking for contributors, so if you have some extra cash in your pocket this year, please consider giving it to the foundation. We'll put that towards funds for use. And that's all from the foundation.
So Bob, how do they contribute? Do they, is there an online opportunity, or do they just?
Yep, absolutely. You can go to the online portal for the Plymouth Education Foundation. You can actually click on that through the district website, Once you are there, there's an area to donate, and you can designate how you'd like your funds spent as well. So if you're donating, you have a particular interest in scholarship or in the grant program, you can designate your funds accordingly.
Very good. Thank you. Bob, Dan Steinhardt, the Family Resource Center.
Yeah, Family Resource Center operates 2 programs, which are going County Parents as Teachers and Literacy Council. With the Parents as Teachers home visiting update, they visited 68 homes in October and 6 new families were enrolled. A lot of virtual stuff going on as well. So we did a virtual tummy time together in October. We have a virtual craft holiday gift that's offered through a YouTube video, so we can send the kid here home and then watch the video and put it together. There's a dinner with Santa coming up. And then with the Literacy Council, they're doing that virtually as well. So partnering with organizations around the county, enrolling people, and then sending them packets of information to their employers or to their home addresses, and then going through it virtually. And so those are really the big updates there. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good, thank you very much. That leads us to personnel. We need to Dan.
Yeah, we have just one personnel item, just for you to consider, the support staff. The board would consider the resignation of Cindy Carvine, special education teacher at Fairview Elementary School. Cindy has been with the school district for 3 months. It's a teacher.
So we need to take action
Yes.
on that. We would need a motion and a second relative to accepting that resignation.
I move we accept the resignation of Cindy Carvine.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. There was nothing for the consent agenda to be taken off, so in the president's report, 4 items to draw your attention to. Number 1 is our December meeting will be on the 1st Monday of December, because the 2nd Monday and the 3rd Tuesday are back-to-back. So it would be on December 7th, and then the other one would be on the 3rd Tuesday, December 15th, if you take note of that. The second thing is the convention, the education convention that we talked about earlier for the delegate. If anybody wants to participate, it will be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday, 8:30 to 4:30, Thursday, 8:30 to 2:30, and Friday, 8:30 to noon. So if you'd like to participate in that, you need to register for that. The delegates don't have to register if you're just participating in that delegate assembly. But see Katrina if you want to participate in that. It is virtual, so you could get in on it without having to travel. That's the second item. The third item, we received an email thanking the entire school board for consideration and appreciation showed to the staff in what Dan talked about earlier, the Friday catch-up day with so many areas. And this one comes from one of our good teachers, Laura Cable. She says, it speaks volumes about how the board supports and cares about the staff. We are deeply grateful. So just want to share that feedback that I received, but it's really intended for all of you who participated in that decision. That's the third thing. And then the fourth thing, I was asked why I'm wearing a necktie today, which I don't normally do. And it's because last Monday we had a presentation on the district wellness by Roy Schwab. That's the gentleman's name. And I received an email from him allowing us to participate in the district. Perhaps you did as well, I'm not certain. But the initiative for November and December is called Family Ties Tuesdays. And any staff members that want to post can post a picture of themselves on Facebook, and then some of the cool items, could be distributed. And as a school board, it's our responsibility to engage our community. And I think of how we did that in previous years by participating in the school's homecoming parade. we've done that for 4 or 5 years. And of course, that's not a possibility this year, but this is another way in which we can engage the broader education community by helping them achieve platinum status, as they shared with us. So they've invited us. If you receive that email, I encourage you to click into it, but the concept is wear a tie or a scarf on Tuesdays, and then use that as an opportunity to kind of consider your own family ties, where they come from. So I'll pass out, I made a copy of the attachment that he sent, and then you could be invited. There's a click to participate in the Facebook group, but it's a way that we can participate with the wellness initiative of our school district and engage that part of our community. So that's the fourth thing that I wanted to just draw your attention to, was Family Ties Tuesdays. That's for November and December, and then they'll have another initiative, I'm sure, in January that you can participate in. So that's the President's report. Dan?
So I was in thinking about this month and the pride that we all share when our students achieve great things, like the second nationally that we just viewed today. It all comes from community support. And recently I've been spending some time with community leaders and in with the PEF as our local community support group. And we really have great community support. And it goes both ways. The community supports us, we support the community. It's a wonderful thing. And I thought there's probably not a better example than what just happened in the beginning of the board meeting today, where we have 2 students who won a national award, and it's something that only came to be because our community helped support the drive to build and create the Agriculture and Science Center. Because we wouldn't have a hydroponic system of that caliber. We wouldn't have ever been able to collaborate and put together in the same way our advanced biology and our agriculture class, the way that we currently have it structured now. And so all of those things, and we've got example after example after example in this district of everything from the technology center to our new coordinations with UWGB, the ski club, the kayak, I mean, all of these things that are supportive of us and our kids and how we then support the community. It's wonderful to see. And those students that we saw today are an example of what can happen when a community pulls together and pulls in the same direction for advancement or shoots for a goal that maybe seems out of reach. You know, you look at our future states, and we say in our future states, all students. And that is an extremely lofty goal. Will we ever get there? We sure hope so. But when we put a goal out there, it's we hope and we will. And you see in the examples that we had today that the community support that we have allows us to get there. So I just thought that was a great thing. And so just to skip right into the staff and student accomplishments then as well. Obviously we started with a great accomplishment, but other things are going on as well. And I will wear my glasses because I couldn't read what I was looking at before. So a couple things that have happened recently. Our fall sports have all but wrapped up. We had successful and healthy seasons. The football team finished the regular season 6-1 and won the conference championship. The girls swim and dive team sent 6 girls to state. It was held in Waukesha last Friday, and the girls finished 20th in the state. I don't know if you've looked at the website, and folks out there, if you have, get on the website and check it out. The PHS Choir Department created a music video which debuted last Friday, and it can be viewed on the YouTube page, right in the front page if you just look in and click on latest news. And what they did was every student recorded themselves and was recorded and then they dubbed all of them together, and then they went out and socially distanced and had a drone, and they did a whole video with pulling together all those individually recorded voices into a song, Revolution by Pink Zebra. Hadn't heard of it before this, but it's fantastic, and it's a really great example of, again, like Dina was talking about, using the technology in a different way and having to learn and new things because of the situation that we're in. Really fantastic. And also, this year the one-act play was 100% virtual, and the entire process was really student-driven. And the final product, it's titled COVID Diaries, and will be published soon on YouTube. And I think I saw it on the front page of our webpage today. I'm not sure if it's live yet, but it's coming. And so, just another really wonderful example. And I don't know if you had a chance to see, but the band was able to put on a performance for parents a few weeks ago as well, and they played the pep band songs that they otherwise would have normally played at sporting events, but didn't get a chance to this year in fall. And another note that Dina mentioned as well was the virtual remote parent-teacher conferences. It almost universally, they're remote and virtual. There's some were in person for specific reasons, but they've been ongoing now for a month or a month and a half, and so the timing of them, the old traditional coming on one day and we're going to march through the teachers, and that's a change, and it's a change that is being sort of created because of the situation we're in, and maybe it's something that we continue into the future. We've had some very good feedback from parents. We've had some issues with the technology and things, of course we will, but it's a learning process, and I think right now the feedback, positive feedback, overwhelms the technical issues that we've struggled with here and there. So great opportunities are coming our way all the time, and so we're always on the lookout for them. Some upcoming events. Richard, you had mentioned that the Committee of the Whole is on the 7th, and the the regular board meeting is on the 15th, so I wanted to make sure of that. And we heard the noise in the gym next door as we're starting out here today. The winter sports seasons have begun in the district. It's kind of an ongoing process about how they will turn out in the end. We said the same thing when we started the fall seasons, that we will work as a conference and we will follow our local guidelines and our current in-house data about how to work through this process and still try to give kids an opportunity, like the music videos and like the one-act play and like our fall sports seasons. So those have all begun currently, and hopefully we can give students that opportunity. So the basketball noise will not be the same as the past because we won't have the band there and those types of things, but sometimes we will hear basketballs bouncing around next door as we're going, and then the boys swim team and all the rest of that will be starting up. So, and even wrestling. So here we go for winter, hoping to have some amount of normal life for our children in the Plymouth School District, as much as it's safe.
Wonderful. Well, it's exciting. So much good is happening in the midst of the challenges. Well, that completes our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say yes.